Hello, welcome. So this video is going to be talking to you about the Akashic energy and codes that are part of the Akashic field. And at some point we will do a meditation together where we can open the heart space to receive more of this information in the feminine, in the deeper feeling body. But first I wanted to use more of the masculine way to describe what this Akashic energy, healing and codes entails. So today I'm filming around the holiday of Valentine's Day, which is this big heart opening holiday, and we can utilize this energy of the week, of the coming months even, to really get into the heart space more, because this is where we can balance all of our virtues and all of our shadow codes, so to speak, because when we are not operating out of our heart space, we're more likely going to be operating in the opposite space of the heart, and we'll try and fill that gap with other things. And so we may be feeling, if we're not in the heart space, if we're not really operating from the heart, then we may feel fear, sadness, anger, pain, depression. And we may try and fill that gap with external things. And these external things may fill the gap for a short time period. But one of the things that it doesn't do is help you to understand and to learn, to practice how to fill that love space from inside of you. And I wanted to share some Akashic energy with you as a practical way that we can tap into this heart space. I see the heart space as this balancing pillar, almost like the yin-yang, and it is this ground of harmony in the heart where you can step into and receive codes, receive things that are going to help you to generate more love for yourself and others at the same time. And this is the energy, the frequency that not only keeps life going as we know it, but is the very source of all life as we know it. So the Akashic field, that's a part of everything, is a part of all the planes of existence, the levels, the layers of our bodies, of our material and metaphysical realms. These spaces are basically the space in which ether holds for us, and ether is made from the 4 elements that are inside of our bodies, that are outside of our environment, in our environment, in the body of everything, water, in the body of everything, earth, fire in the body of everything, and air in the body of everything that we know. When we have an alchemical imbalance, or when we look at any alchemical balance that's going on in our being, we can see that it's made up of many different ratios. And so if you're feeling anger, for example, you will have an alchemical ratio of elemental energy that's going on within your being at any one particular time. And so with the power of love in coming into that heart space, we not only balance ourselves alchemically on the inside with the aid of the elements. Calling in water, for example, is a great way to calm the waters of your being, so to speak, but you don't want to have too much water. You want to balance it with earth so that you're grounded, so that you're not going to go too deeply into the emotional aspect of your being, where sometimes it can be not so helpful, really, because too many emotions is overstimulating, especially when it's not grounded in the earth, in love, because love is very much a balance of water, earth, air and fire in the right ratios. And I'll guide you through that space in the Akasha in this meditation that we're going to do. But I wanted to touch on the codes that you'll receive as a part of this meditation and how you can generate these codes for yourself at any one given time. You're actually wanting to come into the throat, because when you're just in the heart, love is actually a very balancing energy. It's not the highest energy you can feel. And so what we can do, what I have here, is a physical tool. It's a paintbrush, and something that I did yesterday that was very felt like both practical and emotional, is to generate these feelings within us that are balancing both our upper and lower bodies. And so we can do that by we can understand the virtues and the shadow codes that I mentioned earlier, that are a part of our being, that are the angels that exist in all things. The angels embody the virtues, and the shadow parts of us are basically the parts that are there for us to be challenged on and find a way to overcome in our daily life. And so an example would be to find a shadow code in my being of doubt, and just writing that for the air to take in around me, and the feeling generates, I'd say, a smaller field of energy. It's almost like I'm drawing to me all of my energy, and I'm not able to expand as much in my heart space. Same with fear. With fear, you kind of close in on yourself, collapse in on yourself. And so when you're around others and you feel fear or doubt, it can feel like you're a ghost in the room, because either you're bringing a lot of attention to yourself because you're in a space that's fearful, or you're not able to be heard or seen because you're collapsing in on yourself. One of those two things can happen. And the same thing can happen if we're alone and we feel fear or doubt. We collapse in on ourselves and we draw to us either the parts of energy, of entities that would maybe take advantage of this space by prodding at us even more and kind of asking, what's wrong with you? Because that's the law of attraction. When you attract to you the part of the shadow codes that exist in this plane of existence, as well as the light codes, you'll get back those same shadow codes. So, going into these places of negative emotion are helpful at times, but to linger there without coming into the heart space is where we get trapped in things like addictions, addiction to substances, addiction to people, addiction to anything external from us. Whereas if we come into love, the love space, it's kind of like we're on a boat and we're just sailing the waters quite still, quite safely. And that's always a good place to come back to, is the heart, because it generates the baseline frequency for all existence. But there are other feelings you can generate that might require so if you're in fear or you're in doubt, you can generate things like bliss or euphoria or clarity. So let's work with clarity. You'll notice that you come more up into your headspace, and so this is where we start to utilize more of the colors of blue and purple, indigo, and this is actually where we pair this heart space with intuition. We pair this love space with clarity of vision, being able to understand our life from all perspectives. And so that's how you generate a more powerful emotion, is when you pair love with clarity, with bliss. For example, bliss can feel exceptionally encompassing when you go into the crown chakra and you're grounded at the same time. And the things we don't want to do is go too far out of the body. The Akashic records is something that we bring into us. We call into us this space. If we want to open to it, we are opening to our own creation. We're opening to our own ability to conjure energy. We don't want to go outside of ourselves looking for the answers. We want to come in. And so that's why we don't just ignore these lower emotions. We balance them. And so we can come into the root now and find a balancing act to that fear that I just discussed with you. The balancing act would be grounding. Feeling connected to the earth, connected to your body, being very present and still in exactly where you are, what you are right now, allowing for whatever it is to be. It's quite a straightforward feeling, so simple that it gets overlooked oftentimes. You ask people what their favorite chakra is, you'll probably notice a lot of people will mention these upper regions. But the root, the sacral and the solar are what anchor us to be able to receive the upper information in the first place. So you don't want to necessarily start working with the Akashic records until you've found that grounding space. So now that we're in that balanced space, we can come up into our creativity. And if there is a blockage in, say, our feelings or creativity or our ability to create, then we can call in the feeling, the essence of boundaries. Boundaries are what allow us to be in a sovereign space, allow us to experience what our own emotional essence, our own energetic essences are really getting us to take a look at. Your dream space is a very good area of exploration for this second chakra, I would say, because actually your emotions feed into a big part of your auric field. They generate both your nightmares in the astral realm, but also your momentum within the ethereal realm, which is where you are pulling to you, attracting to you the very core soul essence of who you are. And who you really are is much bigger than just your thoughts, much bigger than your body. You have a soul imprint that is part of the etheric ether realm that has every single code and piece of information about your past, present, parallel and future. And this is where people usually go to consult with the Akashic records. They wish to read their book of life and understand or feel or know who they really are at the deepest level. But we have to do this lower astral level work, this shadow work, because if we become complacent with the fact that we just want to experience the light and love all the time and repress any emotions that come up that are needing to be acknowledged, then we become disillusioned. We start acting from a space that we don't even realize we're acting from. And this can come in the form of many different types of things. Being in a mood, for example, and not knowing why. And if we trace why we're feeling in a mood, we can go to the very beginning of time and find an answer. So of course we have to try and decompartmentalize everything. There is so many layers and levels to this kind of work that it can get a little bit overwhelming. And so one of the things that I would suggest is just coming into the heart space and trying to acknowledge whatever's coming up for you and really delve into it, because when you feel angry or in a mood, the easiest thing is to reach for that external, but we want to practice, we want to learn how to develop this inner love for ourselves that will always fill us. It may take a while before it can fully fill us, because if we're not accustomed to filling our own self with love first before we reach out into the external, then just like anything, it takes time for it to assimilate into your being. Your mind is very convincing when it comes to working against you in a way of wanting to get its own way. Say you have an addiction to something, you're going to keep going to that addiction until you reprogram your mind and tell your mind that actually this is the way that I'm going to try for now. I'm going to try conjuring up my own love, my own space for at least a week. And then I'll make my decision. But you have to dedicate yourself in some way, shape or form to this kind of work, because it doesn't work at a click of a finger for everyone the first go. Dedication, focus, practice, those are some of the virtues that are part of these lower chakras that build our basis for a really good groundwork, a really good anchoring in this reality. Aligning, allowing, and activating is part of this upper region. But going back to, again, first starting with these lower three chakras, the solar plexus, this space is needed to be tended to when it comes to knowing the difference between the polar opposites, knowing the ratios that go into each emotion, this alchemical balance, go into this state of mind that you may experience on a given basis. You want to shine the light on all of the things that don't fit with what you know to be the truth in life, because there is a lot of misinformation, there is a lot of delusional programming, both emotionally, socially, spiritually, out in the world today, and there's a reason for it, but the reason's not so important as how we learn to deal with it is important. We learn to deal with it by understanding what our physical body is saying at any one given moment. Maybe we aren't tending to our physical body if we're feeling emotions that are leading to us acting out in a difficult way. Maybe we need to tap into our astral body. What is it our dreams are trying to tell us, and really just acknowledging and asking the questions for yourself, because anytime you ask a question to your higher self, if you get into that meditative space and ask a simple question, you will say the right answer. You don't need to doubt yourself when doing this kind of work. As long as you're set in sacred space, whatever answer you receive is going to lead to more growth, is going to lead to more understanding in some way. So, coming into the solar plexus chakra, we can instill within us a type of trust. we do need to have an understanding of what it means to trust in the light, but also know the difference between not trusting and something that is not good for us. You may trust that something you're doing is going to give you happiness, but that trust may be based on a false illusion in the beginning. An example, I guess, would be that you may trust that someone is coming to save you, or that other people will take care of things. You may trust that something outside of you usually is going to help. This would be a truth that is based on false pretenses, because the ultimate truth is that you have all the power that you ever need to tap into that higher frequency of yourself in the Akashic space and unlock any piece of information, any feeling of deep love that you need to in any given moment. It doesn't come externally, it comes from inside. So putting your faith in truth of your virtues, things like joy, feeling into joy, discernment, putting your trust in your intuition that will help you to discern. And it's an everyday practice. It's not something you get from reading a book. It's not even something that you get specifically just from reading your metaphysical book of life in the Akashic records. It's actually part of this grounding aspect that I was talking about with these first 3 chakras. When you anchor that space in the real world, that is when you become it. The material plane is just as much part of our learning experience, if not the most learning experience that we'll have here, than is, say, the metaphysical realm. But if we live purely in the physical, never being able to trust in the unseen forces that also govern this world as we know it, then we're missing out on a big aspect of ourself, our superconsciousness. So we're working with the subconscious to the conscious to the superconscious at all times. We're including all 3 of these parts of our trinity, of our triune self, of our past, present and future. We don't want to miss the physical nor the spiritual way of understanding life. So now I think I've made it a bit more clear what I was trying to suggest with these virtues, with these shadow codes that we need to unlock and understand when we're acting from this space, when we need to come into the heart space to balance out anything that is alchemically out of balance within our emotional, spiritual, physical, or mental bodies. I'm going to do a little prayer in light language, and from there I'm going to let Spirit, my angels, guide me and you into a collective meditation where we will explore the Akashic field of the heart, specifically for today, because this is going to be a really big shift moving into this next month of how we view ourselves and our relationships. This shift is going to occur on deep levels for us. It's going to be cellular, it's going to be through the heart, it's going to be through the auric field, and it will penetrate into the physical body. I'd say the key thing moving into this space is trust, relaxation, and intention. Having all of those 3 things in play, I'm going to just take a moment to breathe now with you, because when we breathe, we unlock this heart space, this pillar of balance. Please breathe however your body is telling you to breathe. Listen to your heart. It's It's asking you to follow the rhythm of its beat. I ask that the angelic forces, the teachers, the loved ones, the guides of our ascension and enlightenment may help us to ground this experience in the present moment, here and now. Connecting to your red root, you feel grounded, secure and safe. Breathing into the watery space of the orange sacral chakra, you feel connected to your emotions, your creativity, and feel secure in your boundaries. You are protected from the light that is all around you, in every particle, in every breath, in every element. It is within you to reinforce your will and trust in this truth, to align your mental paradigm and concepts with this solar plexus chakra located above your belly button. This yellow light, whatever color it appears to you, gold. There's many colors in each chakra. Whatever you see is right for you in this moment. Instilling this trust in your intuition to guide you along this journey of life. Coming into the heart, you feel into this expansive field of green and purple light that is all around. It surrounds your energetic bodies, circling, spiraling in and out of you like the sacred geometry found within a shell. It begins to vibrate, spinning, generating energy. Balancing the upper chakras with the lower chakras. As we come into these upper chakras, we may notice a switch of our perception into the higher bliss body. We may notice something else entirely. Depends where your physical, mental, spiritual and emotional body is at. Either way, everything is okay. Whatever you experience, whatever you feel, is exactly what is needed for you in this time. When we open our heart chakra to more of our truth, to more of the expression of truth, this green becomes imbued with turquoise, blue colors, opening to the higher frequencies of the higher heart. We may receive telepathic communication from our guides at this point in the throat chakra. We may receive messages clairvoyantly, clairaudiently. Trusting in our empathic gifts to guide us in this moment, we come in to the third eye chakra. Going to take in all of the light that is around us now. We're just going to see this violet flame in the center of the third eye, working with all previous elements of earth, water, fire, air, and sound. We vibrate them all into a spiral of violet flame that is entering in and out of your third eye. You can notice any other sacred geometry shapes, Infinity 8 for example, swelling in front of your third eye, getting bigger and bigger, connecting all of these central nodes and points of your body, realigning everything in your bodies and around you with the true blueprint of peace that is held steady and secure by the netting and web of the flower of life that connects us all as one. We come into this unity consciousness. This unity consciousness is found in our crown chakra, uniting us with this space of divinity, of truth, at its highest aspect of our spiritual purpose. The deepest love can be found here as we ascend, bringing with us all parts, all beings, all aspects, all ratios, all opposites, acknowledging and integrating them as part of the whole as well. There is no judgment here. There is only the righteous polar opposites that govern and guard this Akashic field that records every intention, every thought, every feeling that has ever been experienced. We are part of something that is beyond words. Remembering this, exploring this, is part of the fun of this earthly realm, bringing this spiritual truth fully into our being is part of the test we are given as this game of life continues to unfold. The test is to stay aligned with the virtues of joy, peace, wisdom, love, truth, honor, grace, and become aware of those shadow aspects that would hold us, keep us in place from ever reaching this potential that is as simple as experiencing the deepest love you've ever felt, yet as complex as knowing all the secrets of the universe. Breathing in and out through your alignment center. Your central chakras are feeding all of your other chakras throughout your bodies. Feeling some tingling sensations that accompany this tapping into the love of the space that is all around us, from the angels that are sending us this energy healing, these codes of light and love. Feeling it go through our wingspan, our upper shoulders and out through the arms, tingling through, washing through, flaming through anything in our feet, in our legs, in our stomachs. Just washing over us like a wave of tingles and bliss. This is the practice of every day we come to these energy bodies, this energy healing that we receive when we connect with the mind, with the heart, and with the body, with the virtues, with the codes, with the ratios, with the alchemy of the elements and the angels that we are, and that permeate our deepest innermost being, as well as the outer world and everything in it. We have to see beyond any illusions that would tell us any differently. We have to know beyond any lies that would show us differently. That is what the Akashic field of energy is always channeling to us, teaching with us. The synchronicities, the signs that show up around us are always there for your highest and greatest good, although sometimes they are there for you to get out of your own way. Knowing the difference is part of your free will. Having faith is part of your power, your true power that no one can take away from you, but that cannot be claimed by you. It can only be claimed within you. It's not outside of you. It's not outside of me. It's inside of all of us. We have the map. No one else has this map that helps us to chart this inner territory. Only you have the key to unlock the door to find the map of your soul. Oroso ayakana maeshe Oriamane ero ayaleo vandeuara. I'd like to give thanks to our guides that have been with us during this session, helping us to unlock more information of the heart, balancing that within our being. You know, one of the benefits of doing this kind of practice where we listen inwardly is that we become brighter. We light up the room around us, and anything that we are afraid of can be imbued with this love that we generate from the inside, and that begins to expand all around us. Your auric field becomes twice as big when you tap into this divine love. When you go into fear, you're collapsing in on yourself and wanting to get back to love. It's as simple as that. Thank you for being here and for witnessing, holding this sacred space. I pray that this information finds you in joy and in knowing and in peace with who and what we are. You're here, you may as well enjoy it. Namaste.